right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A weather first, weather alert for a wintry mix Friday. Why this round of winter weather won't be lingering.
Tonight, a man is charged for a downtown crash that killed a mom and her daughter. Now the driver in another high-profile crash says the publicity from this case is hurting his chances for a fair trial. Caught in the chaos. Tonight, a St. Louis mom talks about taking cover with her young son when shots rang out at the Kansas City Chiefs victory parade.
It's a sad conversation.
Plus new details on what led to the deadly gunfire. We start tonight with that weather alert. A wintry mix of rain, sleet, and snow is expected to move in as you head out the door in the morning. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. Some of our northern counties are already under a winter weather advisory tonight. Let's get straight over to Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell. You have the latest.
I sure do. And that winter weather advisory focused to the north of St. Louis. Really, it should pick up here between 3 and 6 tomorrow morning, north and west of St. Louis, and then during the morning rush hour in the metro area. That timing is a little sooner than we have been talking about the last couple of days. And because of that, the potential's there, especially north and west, for some slick spots to develop during the morning rush hour. And then through the morning, that spreads into St. Louis. The cooler air is filtering in now. We've dropped to 42 degrees. That becomes the new low for the day in St. Louis. But our focus is really up to the north and west across Nebraska, into Iowa, and starting to move into parts of Kansas. We're watching development here. That's going to increase here. As this system pulls to the east, it starts dragging warm, humid air from the south of us up over this cooler air. That's going to generate this band of what we think will start as a little rain and then change to a brief period of sleet before it transitions over to snow. Here's the lowdown. If you're north of St. Louis, that wintry mix likely impacts your morning commute. In the metro area, it's starting sometime around or during the morning rush hour. Temperatures will be very close to freezing or just above. Ground temperatures, though, are above freezing. Metro impacts overall wet roads, but when we have the snow coming down at a bit more intense rate, you're going to see some slushy spots develop. As far as that advisory, it's for areas far to the north of St. Louis. That does include Bowling Green, up towards Carrollton, Carlinville, heading over towards Litchfield and Nokomis in Illinois. We'll be back in a few minutes. We'll talk about accumulations. Metro area, not a huge storm, but there's some spots north of St. Louis that might see more than 3 inches.
And tonight, road crews on both sides of the river are on standby, ready to respond if road conditions start to worsen. IDOT tells us crews double-checked equipment and fueled up trucks today. MoDOT is urging drivers to slow down and anticipate changing road conditions. Of course, the Today in St. Louis team will have the latest forecast and road conditions beginning at 4 a.m. And of course, you can watch on air or stream all of our newscasts on 5+. It's free to download on Roku, Fire, and Apple TV. Just search for KSDK in the App Store. And remember, you can get the latest Weather First forecast anytime. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355. We'll send it straight to your phone.
Just hours ago, charges were filed against the driver accused in the crash that killed a mother and daughter in downtown St. Louis. Monty Henderson of Kirkwood is charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter and 2 counts of armed criminal action. According to court documents, surveillance video shows Henderson blowing through a red light and going 70 miles per hour, which is twice the speed limit. Leticia Bracero and Alicia Cordova of Chicago were hit and killed late Tuesday night. They had just left the Drake concert at Enterprise Center. And this latest deadly crash has attorneys for the man charged in another high-profile crash, asking for a change of venue.
Monday marks 1 year since a Tennessee teenager was hit by a car downtown and lost her legs. 5 on your side's Diamond Palmer was in the courtroom today and joins us now live. Diamond.
Well, Mike and Kelly, Janae Edmondson was just 17 years old when she was visiting downtown St. Louis for a volleyball tournament. And today, the attorney for Daniel Riley filed a motion for continuance, saying that he needed more time to review new evidence in this case. And Riley waived his right to appear.
She's trying to get her life back to some kind of a new normal. Obviously, everything's different, but she's working hard. I can tell you that.
Janae Edmondson's attorney, Kevin Carney, says nearly 1 year after the February 2023 crash that changed her life, she's continuing to make progress and rehabilitation. And she's now a freshman in college. Thursday, another hearing in the high-profile case. This time, a motion for continuance filed by Daniel Riley's attorney, Dan Deemer.
All I know is I want Daniel to have a fair trial. And since day one, he has been made, a poster child for somebody who was violating their bond. He should have never been on bond, That's the point of this.
According to Deemer, he also filed a motion for a change of venue, saying it was necessary because of, quote, bad publicity his client received after another crash this week, resulting in the death of a mother and daughter who were walking downtown after attending the Drake concert. The judge denied the motion for both more time and a change of venue. In an interview Thursday with Mayor Tashawn Jones, she called for more street safety.
We are doing everything we can to implement traffic studies that have been sitting on shelves for years. We're using over $40 million of ARPA funds to deploy these resources to make our intersections, our top 10 dangerous intersections, safer.
Carney says it's best to move the case forward as soon as possible to get it to trial.
Janae hopes that her case can kind of be an example for change. And to some extent, we think that has happened, but there's a lot more that needs to be done.
Now, the next hearing for this case will be February 23rd at the St. Louis Circuit Court, and this trial is set for March 4th of this year. Reporting in St. Louis, Diamond Palmer, 5 on your side.
Tonight, the Kansas City community came together in the face of tragedy. A candlelight vigil was held for the victims of yesterday's shooting at the end of the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl victory celebration. Lisa Lopez Galvin, a popular local radio DJ, was killed. 22 others were hurt. At least half of the victims are younger than 16. The youngest, just 8. 2 teenagers are in custody tonight. Investigators say the shooting appears to have started with a fight.
Preliminary investigative findings have shown there was no nexus to terrorism or homegrown violent extremism. This appeared to be a dispute between several people that ended in gunfire.
Charges have yet to be filed. Police say there could be more arrests.
Tonight, an area mother is just back from Kansas City. She took her young son to the parade as a birthday present. Brent Solomon just sat down with her about their startling experience. Brent?
That it was, Mike. She tells me how she and her son ducked for cover. This was supposed to be a celebration on many levels for that family. Now they're just relieved they made it back home. It's not every day you get a message from an NFL player.
Happy birthday, Cole.
Former Chiefs fullback Christian Okoye sending a personal greeting to a Parkway student turning 11 years old. He found out little Cole is a big Kansas City fan.
And I'll see you soon. Hope I'm running to you.
Just days after the big win, that's all he wanted. We canceled his birthday plans, and that's what he wanted for his birthday.
They drove up and initially had a blast.
The weather was perfect. There were a lot of people there.
Until.
So we knew something was wrong, because when you see a group of people leaving abruptly, but it's not at the time that things should be ending, we could hear a commotion, and it was time to go.
But she says
there's nobody there to help you. The police, rightfully so, are running towards the scene after a while, but there was nobody left to direct those people out of the park. It was scary because so many people were still celebrating. While they're in the midst of the chaos, people are still in celebration mode, whether they know or not, and the Ferris wheel is still going. There are people still on the Ferris wheel 30 minutes after this is already on the news.
She and Cole made it out, even helping 2 distressed teenagers get to safety. They're thankful they're safe, but this mom also realizes it's a birthday her son won't soon forget.
Here we are thinking we're gonna celebrate his 11th birthday in a city that we love, just up the highway from St. Louis, and he's excited to go to school and tell his friends about the parade. What now does he say?
Dolby and son were supposed to stay in Kansas City through the weekend into President's Day. Shaken up by the entire ordeal, they left the next day.
New tonight, the Kirkwood City Council has voted down a proposal by St. Peter Catholic Church to close down a busy street. Church leaders wanted to close a portion of Jefferson Avenue to join the church with its school campus. They said it would improve student safety. Tonight was the first of 2 special nights at Country Bob's Family Dining in St. James, Missouri.
New tonight, Robert Townsend takes us to the restaurant in Phelps County where the generous owner is paying it forward to emergency responders.
It's another night at Country Bob's in St. James. Come inside and you'll see the energetic owner, Travis Holt, his servers and cooks all on the go.
It's an absolute passion, and I love food, and I get to feed people.
His family-owned diner off North Jefferson has been a popular place for the past 14 years. Travis has run the business for 4 years now.
My mom helps at the front counter, but I make all the main decisions.
Recently, tough financial times hit them.
3 weeks ago, I made a Facebook post about how my business was struggling, and so we were hurting really bad.
About 4,000 people currently live here in St. James. Holt says right after he let everyone know his doors could possibly close for good, his community immediately came to his rescue.
It was all the other small businesses doing stuff.
They and longtime loyal customers rallied behind Country Bob's.
Oh, I cried all day for 5 days straight.
Now, with the help of 2 donors, for 2 days, the 37-year-old grateful diner owner is giving back.
I love all first responders.
He's feeding emergency frontline workers.
Police officers, everything. Yeah, the sheriff's department, highway patrol.
His popular buffet meals for free.
We don't expect it, but it's a good thing he did it. It's a good deal.
A good deal from a good, humble man.
It's going great so far.
Happy to serve St. James.
Feeding as many people as I can.
Robert Townsend.
Full belly. Yeah, hopefully they don't sleep while they're patrolling.
5 on your side.
Travis hopes to serve free meals to at least 75 first responders.
Parents of newborns and infants have been warned for decades.
You're playing with fire if you're co-sleeping with a child.
Data shows they're not listening. Tonight, the I-Team looks into local efforts to stop parents from making a potentially deadly decision. Self-checkout clash. One man's trip to Schnucks ends with a trip to jail.
No need for a French toast run to the grocery with Friday's weather system. Yes, Friday is a weather alert day, but travel impacts should only last a few hours. I'll show you where the heavier snow bands will be in 7 minutes.
Tonight, a St. Louis man is in jail on weapons charges, accused of flashing a gun in the self-checkout lane at the University City Schnucks. Police say it happened after an employee asked Jesse Garrett to go through regular checkout because he exceeded the store's new 10-item limit policy. According to investigators, Garrett then tried to hide the gun behind a box of candy. And despite warnings from experts for years, parents and caregivers keep making a potentially deadly mistake every time they put their newborn to bed.
Yeah, the I-Team has discovered that the rate of sleep-related infant deaths has remained stagnant despite decades of prevention efforts. Tonight, our Christine Byers is pressing experts to find out what must be done to get the numbers trending in the right direction.
Whenever Chief Forensic Investigator Mike Tarticchio gets called to a home where an infant has died, he pretty much knows what to expect.
It's pretty common to see that the cribs are not in use.
Babies have been laid face down.
And then co-sleeping. Co-sleeping is huge. People think that it's okay to do it, that it's not going to happen to them. Their parents did it, but the statistics prove otherwise. It is, you're playing with fire if you're co-sleeping with a child. That's what makes these cases tragic, is that they are preventable.
And they aren't letting up. The nationwide Safe to Sleep campaign in 1994 cut SIDS, or sudden infant death syndrome, cases by 40%. Those are cases in which there is no known medical cause of death. But since 2000, SIDS and sleep-related death rates have remained relatively stagnant, even spiking in some states. In Missouri, there was a 22% increase in infant suffocation cases between 2021 and 2022. Tarticchio believes some of it is generational.
And the older generations will tell you the safest place for a child is face down so they don't aspirate on spit up. The science proves otherwise. The gag reflex will prevent that child from aspirating.
St. Louis County Medical Examiner Dr. Gershom Norfleet says race plays a role too.
Black children are 4 to 7 times more likely to die from unsafe sleep-related conditions as opposed to white children in St. Louis County. But what is important is that there are preventive strategies to be able to address those numbers.
Dr. Norfleet and Tarticchio serve on the St. Louis County Child Fatality Review Board. Most Missouri counties have them. They meet monthly.
You have people from social services, particularly the Children's Division. You usually have individuals from the prosecuting attorney's office. You can have law enforcement. You can also have first responders. The types of death that come to our attention are the unclear, the sudden, the unexpected.
Tarticchio says over the last 9 years, the board has reviewed 82 unsafe sleep cases in St. Louis County. That's about 9 per year.
Most hospitals do offer education for newborn parents on safe sleep practices. So what more needs to happen?
Just like the Click It or Ticket campaign or any other campaign that has made impacts in the community, I think that this just needs to be a priority. This message needs to get out, that there is a right and a wrong way for a child to be laid down for bed.
And he's tired of knowing what to expect when they're not. For the I-Team, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
And for safe sleeping tips or resources where cribs are available, you can check out Christine's story under the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com.
And we remain in a weather alert tonight with snow expected tomorrow. Let's check in again with Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell with the Weather First forecast.
Yeah,
It's going to be a busy morning tomorrow.
It's going to be a busy morning tomorrow, a busy day. And for St. Louis, the impacts are really later in the morning and through lunchtime into the afternoon hours. If you have a flight out of Lambert tomorrow, we're not going to close the airport because of weather tomorrow, but there likely will be some delays here, not only because of our weather, but how this storm impacts other airports across the region too. Right now we're looking at some snow breaking out. Really want to draw your attention to this out west. We have a boundary that's down to our south and west right now. That's allowing the cooler air to filter in. Let's focus on this area right now around the Kansas-Nebraska border here. This is northwest of Hays, Kansas. If you look in a little bit closer, you notice some darker blue bands in here. This is a scenario that we think is going to play out for at least part of our area as we head into tomorrow. So here's the deal. Around 3, 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, that's when the weather advisory goes into effect up towards Bowling Green, Jersey County. Well, actually, Greene County. Jersey County's not in it, at least not yet. Calhoun County, Montgomery, and Macoupin counties in Illinois. That's when we expect to see some action start to develop. Mostly snow as you go farther north, a rain to sleet to snow kind of mix in the metro that eventually does change over to mostly snow as we head towards late morning and into the afternoon hours. Notice some darker blue bands in here. That's where you're going to get the snowfall rates a little higher, and thus the visibilities come down. You start to see slushy accumulations despite the warm ground temperatures and the warm road temperatures. Down to our south, there may actually be some rumbles of thunder southeast of St. Louis heading into tomorrow afternoon. And then by the time we get to 6 o'clock, this is all pushing out of the area. Skies will then begin to clear. The breeze will be out of the north at 8. It'll get colder, but drier air is pushing in. That will help to dry the roads. Untreated surfaces, though, that remain wet tomorrow evening will likely glaze over as we will have temperatures dropping back into the 20s. Here we are tomorrow. We've kind of highlighted this mid-morning through mid-afternoon time frame here, 10 to 2, especially in St. Louis. That's when the snow would be coming down the hardest. It may still be a little bit of a sleet-snow mix around 10 o'clock, which of course limits the accumulation, that along with the warm ground temperature. So here are the numbers. There could be some spots here for our northern counties that get 3 or 4 inches if you're in that band of heavier snow. Most of us in the metro area are going to end up with about 1 inch or 2. And then down south, we're going with up to 1 inch. But again, if you have some thunder snow mixed in there, who's to say you won't get a little more than that? It's cold after this. Saturday, we're at 38, 53 though on Sunday, and back into the upper 50s for President's Day. Right now in St. Louis, our new low temperature for the day is 42 degrees. That's the current reading. 54 rather, was the high for the day. Next 10 days. Tomorrow's your weather alert day. It's that Weather First weather alert day because we have winter weather. It's not a huge storm, but especially during the midday hours, it is going to cause some problems around St. Louis. And then we have one cold day and another cold morning Sunday, and then we're back into spring-like weather. So just be prepared tomorrow morning. By the way, already some schools on remote learning plans and snow schedules and snow days tomorrow. They're at the bottom of your screen at KSDK.com.
And if you have to go out, be careful. Scott, thanks. Corey is next with sports.
Well, the Blues put on a show at Enterprise Center. We had history on the high school basketball court, and we're talking to City SC ahead of their 2024 debut. Stick around. Sports is up next.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
Is it always pretty? Of course not. But for the better part of the last 2 months, the St. Louis Blues have looked like a team determined to make the playoffs. They got tested again tonight against Edmonton and the best player in hockey and passed with flying colors. Yeah, it was this kind of night at Enterprise Center. Nice mullet, kid. The Blues had everything going tonight against the Oilers. Here's some goals. Robert Thomas kicked things off with his 19th of the year. He had 3 points tonight. Jake Neighbors' spinorama goal. That made it 2-2. 3 points for him as well. And then Torrey Krug gets in on the action. Blues lead 3-2. It wasn't just scoring, though. Watch big Marco Scandella flatten Corey Perry, protecting his guys. And Jordan Biddington, well, he stood on his head again as well. Blues win 6-3 for a big victory over Connor McDavid and the Oilers. If I could describe Incarnate Word basketball in one word, it would be domination. But somehow that doesn't even feel strong enough. The last time the Red Knights lost a game, it was 2020. Fast forward 4 years later, and they have a piece of Missouri history. Thanks to plays like this coming up, this corner three from Nevaeh Caffey. There she is, wide open in the corner. She sinks it for 3. And a third quarter buzzer beater from Sophia Otten right there in the paint. Incarnate beat Ursuline 75-32 tonight to win the program's 124th straight game. Yes, you heard me right, 124 in a row. That passes Stratford's run that ended in 2019 for a title of the longest girls high school basketball winning streak in Missouri history. It is a true legacy of winning.
What I love about it the most is it's just not one team, one person. There's a lot of people involved, a lot of different players, different coaches, different seasons, and it's just fantastic that a whole community can be a part of this.
We put in so much work that people don't see on and off the court. We work as a team every day. We push each other in practice to make each other better, and it all paid off in the end.
Here comes Clark. How will she go for history?
How about some more history in women's basketball? Iowa's Caitlin Clark became the NCAA women's basketball all-time scoring leader on that ridiculous shot, a fitting way to do it for the superstar. It took her 2 minutes and 12 seconds to get the 8 points she needed to break the record, and then she went and scored 41 more. A 49-point night for Clark in Iowa's 106-89 win.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
Well, in just 5 days, City Park will be a madhouse once again. City SC begins their second season with a match against Houston in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. After finishing last year's MLS regular season on top of the West, City likely isn't sneaking up on anybody this year. I asked the team about expectations in year 2.
We're not promised that we're going to win the conference again or finish first. We just want to do our best, think game by game, and then by the end we will see.
Honestly, we don't really care much about what the expectations are from outside. We're going to set our goals, and we're going to discuss internally what we want to achieve this year and what we expect from each other.
I wouldn't say there's necessarily a chip on the shoulder, but I definitely would say that, you know, when you have that mentality of winning all the time and that mentality of wanting to keep on going, especially with the style of play that we have, you know, it looks like a chip.
The Family Arena is the place to be tomorrow night. 14th ranked Mizzou Gymnastics takes the stage for a meet against Lindenwood, Illinois, and number 6 ranked Florida. The Tigers have become more of a national name in the sport and beat 3rd ranked LSU just earlier this year.
I think if we're on and we're having a good day, we can compete with nearly anybody in the country. So we're really excited about that. I feel like the progress we've made in the last decade has been tremendous, and especially over the last 3 to 4 years, and just really excited for the young ladies that have put in all the hard work.
And that will do it for sports.
Corey, thanks. We'll be right back.
The distance between its 2 legs at ground level is 630 feet, making it as wide as it is tall. 30 seconds. Good luck.
What is the Gateway Arch? Of course, many St. Louisans would have gotten today's final Jeopardy question correct, but You can't say the same for all three contestants. Two guessed the Eiffel Tower. The other said the Christ the Redeemer statue in Brazil.
One of the few times I would get a Final Jeopardy answer right.
Right.
All right, tomorrow's weather alert day.
Yeah, you know, and the main time for St. Louis is during the mid-morning through lunchtime into the mid-afternoon. And then once this starts winding down, we're going to see the roads improve, I think, across most of the metro area, especially anything that's treated, because temperatures are still going to be right around or just above freezing. So tomorrow, kind of a mix in the morning that transitions over to snow. Should be a little more of it north of St. Louis.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
And start your day with Today in St. Louis with all the weather information you need at 4 a.m.